Hi, I'm Matt from SpeakPrac, and I want to share something exciting. I recently did the IELTS test, and I scored a perfect Band 9 score for speaking. And that included a Band 9 for Fluency and Coherence. Why am I telling you this? Because everything I'm about to share isn't just theory. It's the exact approach that I used to achieve a perfect IELTS speaking score. This video is part of the Ultimate IELTS English Speaking course. And in this video, we'll talk all about fluency and coherence in IELTS speaking. We'll break down what they truly mean. We'll uncover some common traps that can drain your score. And more importantly, I'll help you improve your fluency using some of the frameworks that helped me achieve a Band 9. Oh, and one more thing before we dive in. This is part of a full free course called the Ultimate IELTS English Speaking course. And you can get the course materials and access the other lessons and practice tools at speakprac.com/IELTS speaking course. The two sides of a powerful speaker. All right, so let's start by getting one thing crystal clear. What are fluency and coherence? The examiner scores them together, and it's helpful to think of them as a car and the roadmap for its journey. Fluency is the car. It's your ability to move forward at a good and natural speed. It's about a smooth ride without constantly stalling, sputtering, or slamming on the brakes. Now notice I said stalling. Every driver, of course, has to slow down for a turn or pause at a junction. That's completely normal. Fluency isn't about driving at 100 miles an hour non-stop. It's about forward momentum. Think of it like that smooth drive, not a car that keeps breaking down. Coherence, on the other hand, is the roadmap. It's the plan that shows you where you're going. It's the logic that connects your starting point to your destination. And it makes sure that your listener, which is your examiner, can follow your journey without getting lost. It's about making sure your trip makes sense. Many students make the mistake of focusing on just one of these. Some try to speak very fast for fluency, but their ideas are all over the place. That's like a fast car with no roadmap, just driving aimlessly. Others have a perfect route planned, but their speech is slow and hesitant. That's a beautiful roadmap, but a car that stalls every few feet. To get a high score, you need both. You need the smooth driving car and the clear roadmap, the fluency traps, and how to escape them. So how do we build that smooth flowing fluency? The first step is to recognize the two main traps that cause those unnatural IELTS score killing hesitations. I call these traps the grammar trap and the content trap. First, the grammar trap. This is when you're so focused on getting every single word and every single tense perfect that you start over-analyzing in real time. You're mentally searching for the perfect vocabulary word or grammar structure, and your speech becomes slow and full of pauses. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine a world-class chef. When they're in the middle of a busy dinner service, are they reading the recipe for the first time? Of course not. They've practiced it so many times that the process is second nature. They can cook with flow and creativity because the hard work of learning was done before the service began. Your IELTS speaking test is like this dinner service. Your preparation time is when you practice your recipes. In the test, you have to trust the practice you've already done. Constantly worrying about grammar and vocabulary during the test won't improve your score for those criteria. but it will absolutely sink your fluency score if you just keep thinking about and worrying about them. The second and even more common pitfall is the content trap. This is when you hesitate because you're desperately trying to think of the right answer, a smart answer, or a true answer. Let's be very clear about this. The IELTS speaking test is not a knowledge test, and it is not a lie detector test. The examiner doesn't care if your favorite color is actually blue, or if you truly believe that museums are the cornerstone of modern society. They don't care about those things. They only care about how you express your ideas in English. So if they ask you a question, the first simple idea that pops into your head is good enough. Feel free to exaggerate, to simplify, or even to make things up completely if it helps you speak more fluently. Think of yourself as an actor playing a role, the role of a confident English speaker. The actor isn't lying, they are performing. And that's exactly what you should do for your IELTS speaking test. Now I know overcoming these mental blocks takes practice. The secret to coherence you already know. Okay, so we have fluency, which is like a smooth driving car. Now what about coherence, the roadmap that gives us our direction? How do we make sure our answers are logical and easy to follow? Well, the most important thing to realize is that coherence isn't something you have to invent from scratch. It's already inside you. Just think about it. When you speak in your native language, whether it's Portuguese or Spanish or Mandarin Chinese or whatever, you're naturally coherent. You know how to tell a story. You know how to explain your opinion. The ability of coherence is already there. Anyone can speak English, and the challenge is just accessing that natural ability under pressure. I also have some great news for you. If you've been following along in this Ultimate IELTS English speaking course, then you already have the ultimate tools for coherence. We just need to remind ourselves how to use them. Let's look at how our frameworks for IELTS speaking part 1, 2, and 3 automatically build coherence into your answers. Remember IELTS speaking part 1? We talked about the A.R.E framework, or R, and use that when you talk about who are you. You answer the question, give a reason, then provide an example or explanation. This isn't just a formula for extending your answer, it's a recipe for coherence. It's a naturally logical structure. You make a statement, you explain why, and you provide proof. It guides the listener's brain effortlessly. Then we have part 2, our 2-minute talk, and I suggest that you use the topic diamond for this. Just like a diamond, you have 4 key points. We talk about the past, then the present or a description, then the future, and finally our opinions or feelings. This structure creates a compelling narrative. You're not just listing random facts, you're telling a story that moves logically through time. It's an incredibly coherent way to organize a longer talk, and it makes sure that you never get lost in what you're saying. And for the abstract questions in part 3, we have the powerful I.D.E.A framework or I.D.E.A framework to help you express your own ideas. You state your main idea, develop it and explain it, give a specific example, acknowledge an alternative viewpoint. This framework is the gold standard for a well-structured, coherent argument. It shows the examiner that You can not only state an opinion, but also support it with logic and evidence. And you can even consider others' perspectives. So you see, you don't need to learn a new, complicated system for coherence. You just need to trust the frameworks we've already covered. They have coherence built right into their DNA. The glue. Using signposts naturally. Now, if our frameworks are the building blocks of a coherent answer, then signposting language or linking words is the glue that holds them together. Think of signposts as the road signs for your listener's brain. When you say a word like because, so, for example, or however, you're giving a little signal that says, hey, turn left here, I'm about to give you a reason. Or, get ready, an example is coming up. But here's the key. You must use them naturally. So many students learn long lists of formal, academic linkers like moreover, furthermore, and with regard to. In a normal conversation, nobody talks like that, unless it's a very formal academic speech. Using those words in the speaking test can make you sound robotic and actually hurt your score if you speak too formally. Stick to simple conversational signposts. Instead of moreover, try also or and another thing. Instead of for instance, try like or for example. Instead of in contrast, try but or on the other hand. The goal here is to sound like you're having a natural, intelligent conversation, not reading a formal essay. Your action plan for fluency and coherence. All right, we've covered a lot. So what are the practical steps you can take starting today? Here's your action plan. 1. Talk, talk, talk. This is non-negotiable. You can't improve your speaking fluency by thinking about fluency. You must move your mouth. Find a speaking partner, join a conversation club, or even talk to yourself. 2. Record and analyze. Use the voice recorder on your phone, or use the specialized recorder that we've made in our SpeakPrac app. Then pick an IELTS question. Speak for a minute or two, and then listen back. Listen for those unnatural hesitations. Were you stuck in the grammar trap or the content trap? What we've done in our own SpeakPrac app is we've made it really easy for you to see how many hesitations you're unnaturally making within a speech. We count for you how many pauses you make and how long those pauses are on average. In addition to that, we figure out how many words per minute you're speaking, and we can compare that to the fluency of a native speaker. This helps as a benchmark, and really becoming aware of your own speech patterns is the first step to fixing them. 3. Practice with frameworks. Don't just learn the A.R.E, Topic Diamond, and I.D.E.A frameworks. Use them. Do timed practice for all 3 parts of the test until using these structures feels completely natural and automatic. As you continue your IELTS journey, remember that this video is part of the Ultimate IELTS English Speaking course, and it's completely free. The course hub page for this is at speakprac.com/IELTS Speaking course. There you'll find the course structure, video lessons, as well as other resources that can help you. Check out the link in the description below as well as on screen right now. So now you understand what fluency and coherence mean. Plus you have some strategies and the mindset to improve. But watching a video just isn't enough. You have to actually start speaking to improve your fluency and coherence. So that's what we're going to do in the next video. It's going to be an interactive workshop for Fluency and Coherence, where you're going to do actual speaking practice. I'll guide you through real IELTS style questions so you can practice alongside me and you can apply the techniques that you just learned. These are the kinds of techniques and practice that I actually did that helped me achieve a Band 9 score. So head over to that video now, which is a practice workshop, and let's start speaking together.